Welcome to episode 60. If you haven't done so, now I'm streaming all my podcasts on my Facebook page as well as YouTube channel. So subscribe and spread the love. Thank you so much. Hey guys, how are you? Jade
Good.
and
How are
Sai
you?
in the house.
Yeah.
Can you let the listeners and the audience know a little bit about YouTube yourselves?
Sure. Where do you start off?
So I'm from Calgary, Alberta. I moved here about 5 years ago when I was 18, and it's been a journey since. But originally, from Alberta, and that's a good fact about me. What about you?
Yeah, so for myself, I'm from Uzbekistan. I've been here in Toronto for 17 years now. My God, time flies. Yeah, and honestly, just like she said, it's been a journey of like self-discovery and just, finding my thing. And it's just been a lot of years and years of ups and downs. And but I think I'm definitely going the right path that I've been
Yeah.
meant to.
Yeah, and we're actually headed back to Alberta in 33 days. So
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So let's just take the audience and some of the listeners through some of your journeys and your struggles. And yeah, so Sai, you want to start first and then
Yeah,
Jade?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I definitely I want to thank you first for even having us on your podcast. This is wanting to be on a podcast was definitely on my to-do list.
Yeah. I'm glad I made that happen for you.
You did, and I'm grateful for that. Now, I guess my journey, it's been interesting one to say the least, and honestly, like maybe like a lot of people can relate when you're new to a country or to a different environment and you don't know where you fit in, where you belong. It can have a lot of a huge factor on who you are and how you develop growing up. I'm not gonna turn this into a sob story.
Yeah.
First moving to Canada, and there was a lot of difficulty, trying to fit in and trying to find my own circle, my own friends, and figure out who I am and where do I belong, right? And there's definitely been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of obstacles along the way, like fallen many times, but I'm grateful that I was able to get back up every single time because of the people that were in my life during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that really kind of ties in with the podcast today, about being limitless itself is too. I think the first thing about that helped me was learning where my limitations were at first, and to really
like the limiting mindsets, right? Well,
Exactly.
What were they for you?
Honestly, for me, it was just it was language barrier.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as bad as it sounds, skin color and like just not being able to fit anybody. And but the one thing I did realize, honestly, that helped me get through that was limitations. More often or not, are psychological, right? We limitations for ourselves, or we come across these obstacles and boundaries, and how we perceive that within our minds is what creates the limits, right? For me, during that time, I kept telling myself, oh, you know what, because I don't speak English really well, I'm not gonna make any friends, right? Oh, because I'm new, or because I look this certain way, it's okay, I get bullied, it's whatever. But then as time went on, and obviously, when you're young, you don't really understand that, you don't know that the impact it will have.
You don't.
Exactly. So here we are, 17 years later, and I've just looking back, the one thing I am really grateful for is that even though I did create these limitations within my own mind, or just going through these experiences, one thing that stayed exactly the same was my perseverance of that, you know what? So what?
It's true.
Things will get better. And if not, then we just keep trying, until they do.
Yeah.
So
learning to not really learning to fail, but like failure makes success. So yeah. What about for yourself, Jade?
So I was raised by a single mom, so it was always the two of us growing up, and my mom had to work a lot of jobs just to support myself, and then my sister came along later. So a lot of perseverance came from me, from having to adapt to my mom being gone a lot and having to adapt to growing up a lot faster. And I didn't have a lot of role models in my life that I could look up to. So I often found myself confused or not sure of who I was growing up. Until later into my adulthood, when I did find some mentors that were able to help me out and I was able to look up to, and it's made all the difference in my life, because I was just so unsure of the possibilities of what could come out of, and breaking the cycle is so huge. Like, I'm the first one in my family to be breaking the cycle in a sense of career path and not down the wrong road. So I'm very grateful for all the experiences I've had that have led me to who I am today.
What about like what kind of limitations or limiting beliefs did you have on yourself?
I think a big one was that I wouldn't be able to go to school, afford to go to school, have the mindset to go to school, and to get a career that could create a life for myself that I truly wanted. So that would have been the biggest limiting belief for myself. And the limiting belief for me is that I could break the cycle and I could become someone that was free from addiction or free from that negative path.
Yeah. Negative self-talk as well. And speaking of careers, like how did you guys, both of you, like how did your career path form, or that journey getting to where you are right now?
Wow. So for me, I'll backtrack a little bit. So I graduated high school not knowing what I wanted to do at all. I moved to Toronto at 18 years old.
Yeah, let's go.
I worked at Smokes Poutineery, a fast food restaurant, and I rented a room with an air mattress that didn't even have a door. So I was paying $500 for that, and then the rest of the money was going towards just like getting the groceries that I could, because as we all know, Toronto's super expensive.
Yeah.
So I got to a point where I was like, okay, I need to figure out what is my next step. And I got super inspired because my mom was in the dental industry for 20 plus years. And growing up as a single mom, when she didn't have daycare or she didn't have somewhere for me to go, I would just come into the office with her. And I got to be influenced by the dental industry growing up, and that led me to become a dental assistant. And once I was a dental assistant, I just wanted to keep going. So I applied for school to be a dental hygienist, and now I'm loving my career, and I hope to continue to build and one day own my own clinic.
What was that single conversation with your mom like, saying, oh, you should do this? Like, how was that process?
She's like, it's time for you to like go to school, like figure it out. You need to like, I don't care what it is, but like, don't be a server your whole life. Don't work at a fast food restaurant. Because when I was 18, I thought I was going to be the manager of Smokes Poutine, and I was content with that. I was okay with that. So I'm really glad that like there was that push, because now I'm in a place where I have a beautiful apartment in Toronto, and I'm able to invest, and I'm able to create a life for myself. And it looks a lot different. Travel, it looks a lot different than it would have looked if I didn't hit this point where I wanted to change my life.
Amazing. What about yourself, Sai? How was that journey for you?
I hope you guys are there's a lot of career changes on the path. So for me, honestly, growing up, I was very ambitious, and I'd like to say I'm still ambitious in my own way in the things that I do. But growing up, I had these dreams and ambitions of like, I want to be a cop, I want to be a detective, I want to be a doctor, actor. And then, believe it or not, I did all of those along the way.
Wow.
And then all things I've always wanted to do, somehow life just brought those opportunities for me, so I could realize that, what, maybe this is not what I wanted to do, right? But the one thing I'll be honest, now I'm realizing that growing up, the one consistent factor for me was that I used to watch my dad get up early in the morning, put a nice suit on, and like pop his shoes and like go to work, drive into his office. And that's one thing I think in the back of my mind, something I was always wanted to do, right? But I didn't really know that that's what it was for a long time. When I went to school, I figured maybe I'm gonna get into health sciences, maybe I'll become a doctor.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. I was like, maybe I know, you know what? Let me just do fitness and health. Maybe I'll bridge into kinesiology and become a physiotherapist. Didn't end up doing that either. And there was just a lot of like ups and downs. And I think I'm gonna quote The Rock in this one, because it's one thing he says, honestly, I 100% believe, and because now that I can actually take a step back and see it happen to myself, he says the one thing that you really, really wanted is the best thing that never happened to you, right? For him, for example, when he wanted to be an NFL player, and then him not becoming an NFL player made him into a successful business owner, entrepreneur today. And I feel like it's the same thing with everybody. Like sometimes the one thing that we think we deserve or we want is not what we actually
what's
need.
planned for you, or like what's planned.
No, absolutely. And like as I mentioned, I got an opportunity to work with the police, and I got an opportunity to work on a movie set, I worked like in different gyms and like sales and like
he was an actor when I met him.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was I'm gonna go into a little bit. So he was working like 16-hour days on sets, and like that was something that
wow, that's brutal.
he was super passionate about, and he got to so much. He got to like dress up and be so many different characters. And I know you let me know that growing up, like that playful energy is like what you wanted to bring into your life. So I'm really glad that you got the opportunity to experience that. But it was an interesting time for you because you were enjoying it, but you were like confused if that was like the right path for you. And now he is in sales.
Yeah. So, and honestly, she said it brought a lot of excitement and just different things in life, you know, because like for me, the one thing I noticed that growing up was that if something wasn't meant for me, then my mind would be like, oh, I'm bored of this. Let me try something more fun. Let me try something more robust, right? And until now, I work at this office that I actually love going into work. I suit up every morning. I do exactly what my dad did, and
that's such a crazy
Yeah, and it was actually funny. Like I was telling Jay this. I think it was last year. I told her that my dream, like before I even started working for this office, I thought that one dream that I always had consistently keep popping up throughout my life was living downtown, overlooking the city in this like penthouse and working at a sales office.
And you journaled that. We looked back at our journal
and like journaled that in September last year.
He wrote what he had goals for himself, and that was one that was listed, and he wrote how can he get there, and it was like sales being challenged, and now he's
literally there. Like my goal was like
manifestation. Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's just, and that's the thing too, that also ties into limitations, right? You are limited. I think a person's limitation, it goes as far as their imagination.
Yeah.
Like your imagination is what limits you from who you want to be or what you want in life. And honestly, I'm a living, breathing proof. Like I've been, I thought that I wasn't meant to be somebody. You know, like I didn't think I'll get to this place, but I always knew this is what I wanted to do. And with obviously, like the truth be told, without Jade, I wouldn't have had that. Like I wouldn't be able to sit down and actually write down, you know what, this is actually what I want. This is what makes me happy, and then actually find the steps towards it. And then now. I feel like I found like I'm in my career that I've always wanted, and like I need.
You wake up happy.
Yeah, I wake up
like,
motivated
hey,
every single morning. Like I'm like, listen, it's another day. Let me go. Let me be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to do that until you find your calling.
Let's just a little bit backtrack a little bit. How did you guys meet?
Oh my gosh. Should I go or should you go?
No, I think you tell it better.
So I went out with my girlfriends one night, all, dressed up, ready to just like have a girls' night. And we walked into this bar, and Sai was there, and he was our server. And I was like, I'm asking for his number tonight. And one of my girlfriends, she was so embarrassed. She's like, no, Jade, like, do not ask for his number. And I'm like, I have to ask for his number. And we were making eye contact the whole night. And at the end of the night, I was like, do you have a pen? It's broken. The pen's broken. And I was like, screw it. I'm just asking for your number. And he's like, I was literally going to ask you for your number. And we went out karaokeing that night, and the rest has been history ever since.
Been a journey and a half.
Yeah. It's been amazing. But it's been a rocky road, and there was like a lot of things that we've had to overcome independently and together, and a lot of
growth.
And here we are.
Yeah. So what would you guys say in your own individual words? What individual words? What limitation? Sorry. In your own words, what would you guys say being limitless or having that mindset means to you?
To me, it means to never give up. Honestly, I know this sounds cliche, and I know every single motivational speaker will tell you this, but going through this firsthand experience myself, I'm gonna give you an example. But in high school, I joined the swim team, and the reason I joined the swim team is because I want to be active, and like I had trouble making friends, and I figured, you know what, one way you make a friend is joining a sports team, right? And believe it or not, I didn't know how to swim. Like I remember my first week on the team, my coach threw me in the water, and it gave me the that pole you use for pulling people out of the water when they're drowning. honestly, he's like, hold on to the one end, and he just made me kick, and he just dragged me around for like 2 hours straight. And we did that every single day for about a month, 2 months, and like until I actually picked up how to swim. And then, but the reason I'm bringing that up because then and there I could have quit, but you know what? It's not meant for me. I'm not a swimmer. I don't know how to swim. Like I can barely float. Like I'm cool just holding off on the wall and the ledge of the pool and just be there, right? But instead, I told myself, you know what? If there's one thing I'm gonna learn to do better by the end of the year, is I'm gonna learn how to swim by myself, right? And fast forward 2 years later, I started qualifying for nationals and I started
He's
competing.
got under the bed.
Like I'm a 6-time gold medalist, 4-time silver. Like, and it's just
wow.
All came down from just having that mindset of, you know what, it's okay that I'm not good at something, but that doesn't mean I'll be like this forever. You know, I accepted my limit that at this very moment I'm not good at this task, but I have time, I have drive, and I have motivation, and there's just no other way around it. You know, like I'm gonna quote one more. I think I read this in a book somewhere, or it might have been a movie. They say if you give a man time and purpose, he can accomplish anything. And I believe that, and then women, really, if you give people time and a purpose, anything is possible.
And it always goes down to motivation can only take you so far, but dedication is what
Exactly
gets you going.
Yeah,
exactly.
What about yourself, Jade? What does it mean to you being limitless?
Being limitless means just continuing to show up even when every part of you is telling you not to, because it's so easy to just be like, I want to give up. I don't see the purpose. I don't see my why. And just continuing to show up. And even if you're giving 1%, that's better than 0%. Showing up is half the battle, and the rest just comes. And there's always going to be ups and downs, but just allowing yourself to be exactly where you are and accepting how much you can give. It's okay to not be your 100%, but if you're showing up, that's all that matters.
Yeah, honestly, going on,
keeping the needle forward. Just keep going. Like you're saying, sorry, it's like.
No, absolutely. Honestly, the one thing I do want to say, I guess, to all the listeners and your viewers is that it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to not know what you want to do, and it's okay to not have direction, right? And believe it or not everybody can be 100% every single day.
Yeah.
The days I wake up with only 10% of my drive or energy, but to me, because at least I get up and show up, like Jade said, just show up. This doesn't matter what it is you want to do. It doesn't matter if you think you're good or bad. Just show up, because at some point you will just get better at it. There's just no other way around it.
You know, you half the battle, showing up.
And don't feel like, I feel like the one issue that the trouble I had for a long time as well was even with all the, I guess, growth that I saw within myself, I still had times where I doubted myself. I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to get out. I don't want to leave the bed today. But at the end of the day, what really got me through was, you know what? It's okay that I feel this way. I'm human. Everybody does. Like every single person on the planet will go through that, right? It doesn't matter. You know, even if we look at Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, like all these creative, innovative people, you would think to be oozing creativity through their ears. Even they have bad days too. You know what I mean? Like everybody has them. You just have to learn to accept that. And
maybe not Elon Musk. You know what? Elon Musk.
I think special case, but it's just
kidding.
Yeah, like you just need to learn to accept your limit. Like, that in that very moment, maybe that might be a limitation. But in the words of Tom Hanks, he says, "This too shall pass."
Yeah, right? Everything will pass.
That's not permanent. Nothing's
your happiest moments will pass. Your saddest moments will pass. Everything will pass, and just riding the wave. And knowing that you are supported, you are loved, you are safe.
Just show up.
Just show up. And
that's all you can do for yourself. Seriously, just show up. That doesn't matter what that looks like. Just show up for yourself.
Amazing.
I'm gonna quote one more person. I love Jonah Hill's psychologist. What's his name?
Spitz or
Spitz.
something. I don't know.
Dr. Spitz,
that's a documentary.
No, but that's the doctor's name.
Is it?
Yeah, that's his name, Dr. Spitz. Anyway, so there's one thing actually that we only watched halfway through, but the one thing I love that, the one thing he said at the beginning, he said, for people that have, again, I'm not offering a cure, I'm not a doctor. He said for people that have depression or have trouble finding a reason to get up every day, he said invest in 3 things: invest into your body, invest into your friends, and invest into your life. In your body, you can get up, you just wake up, wash your face, go for a walk, do anything that makes your body move, get that blood flowing. And he said to invest in your social life, call a friend, text somebody that you haven't talked in a while, say, hey, how's it going? And then invest into your life. Find something different to do for yourself. Read a book, watch a movie, whatever that looks like. And he's like, just doing that in itself will give your brain a reason to just continue. Like you just find a reason. And I love applying what I learned on a daily basis. And I think that one thing I would want your listeners to take away from this is just show up and you'll be fine. You'll find a way.
Yeah.
You just will. It's just how life is, you know, you'll find a way.
Thank you guys so much for your time. It's an amazing conversation, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Have a
so
great one.
much.
Amazing. So